So I guess the next slide to kind of move into it was discussing um, three terms that best describe you as a player. So this is going to be a multiple choice sort of thing. The top percent, which we can round to 60% of the people who responded, said casual. Now I would probably guess that most people are not going to, they're not looking to be competitive. Um, I myself am the type of player, I enjoy tournament play, but I don't really enjoy the super sweaty sort of tournament play. Like I don't try to build meta lists. Like for example, the game that I play that's not my own is Star Wars Legion primarily. We started at my local game store. We've started a league basically from the very beginning. It runs for, each month we do a new league. It can change scenarios or change dynamics of the game, but we try to do, $10 you get in for the entire month, and then we just split the pot at the end, or if we have promos. And so it's not something that's super super meta. And actually, we pride ourselves on, as a store, we will all try different things. Nobody's out there just trying to grind and build the perfect list that they could take to some regional tournament. But I recognize we're not the average store. You'll probably fall into everyone just plays for fun, or everyone plays super grindy. I'm not sure how like Polly, like what is your experience as a gamer?
Well, I used to like run campaigns and be into really competitive games, both tabletop and card games, during the 90s and during the early 2000s, and really went heavily in the tournament scene during MechWarrior Dark Age, for example,
Okay, yeah.
and some Magic the Gathering tournaments as well. These days, I'm really obviously I can't say I'm like a casual guy because I get into all this lore and all the factions and all the minis, and I buy lots of these books. But I don't have the patience, and I don't think it's fun anymore. I like min-maxing in terms of figuring out stuff, but then in terms of actually playing, I mean, a few years ago there was like a sort of like min-maxed Tau Empire army in Warhammer,
Mm-hmm.
which was like three riptides or five riptides. It was something like that. It was like a riptide bomb, and I'm like, there's so many other cool units in the Tau faction, and you're just using like five riptides because it's the most exaggerated, most overpowered thing you can use. Uh, I mean, if you're participating in like a major tournament, I get it because you want to be competitive, but I don't find that fun anymore. To If I go in a store and I want to play with friends or even introduce people to the game, and then I just absolutely destroy them with my super munchy overpowered meta army. It kind of defeats the point because we're there to have fun. That doesn't mean I want to have a crap army, of course, but there's a balance there.
Right. So, like I was saying, casual ranked about 60%. Next came hobbyist at about 38%. Then it falls to collector, and really competitive out of all the people who responded to this, which was like 380 plus people. Competitive ranked 18.8% of those that
Right.
polled. So, out of all of the other things first, you finally run into competitive at the bottom half of the responses, which is kind of surprising because I could understand casual being at the top. I can get most players probably want to just a more of relaxing game, whether even if they could be super into the lore, but they're still not. They don't want money on the table. They just want to play and just have fun. And then the people who are competitive are way down, which is fairly surprising to me.
Well, again, one of the things about this study of sorts is that we're not entirely sure if by competitive they actually meant like competitive in terms of official tournaments, official
Right,
scenes,
right.
or just that people are really competitive about their matches. Because if it's just the scenes, I mean, just taking from the variety of the subreddits and where this was posted, there are no really official tournaments for BattleTech. I don't know if there are for Bolt Action. Um, I'm not sure what the War Machine scene, tournament scene is like at this point. I know that there are tournaments for Legion, there are tournaments for Warhammer and Age of Sigmar, but you would have a limited scope there, right?
Right.
But then on the other hand, obviously, 1/5 of the people that responded to this considered to be really competitive in their matches, so they want to win and they want to really like crush the opponent. Um, but it's a lower number than what I would have expected,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it does reflect a bit the biggest tournament scenes, especially 40k. Where I get the feeling from watching 40k podcasts and reading the 40k stuff that people are getting very tired and very tired of the meta aspect of and the overpoweredness and the munchiness, and also the fact that the Games Workshop continues to have the problem where some codexes are in print and with updated rules, while others haven't had a codex in like 2 or 3 years, and there are mismatches there.
Right, which then can ruin the experience of the player because then they can't keep up, and not everyone has the funds to go and like, oh, okay, these are the more active, more competitive armies, so let me just go ahead and switch factions over there, even though I've invested hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours assembling this army. I'm going to switch over because mine's old now, and then eventually
Right.
the new codex and stuff. So yeah, I think just the
And
go ahead.
and then what's the reaction? The reaction is going to be, if I don't want to actually do that you just described, I'm just gonna, play with my friends. And even though my army doesn't have like an official codex, I know my friend doesn't have like isn't bringing a competitive army to play against me, so we can both have fun. So I really noped out of the competitive aspect of the game.
Right.